the speakeasy was located in back in the 1920s. It's also where all of the country shows were held back in the late 1960s and early 1970s. And back on the video, they showed the Presleys from Branson. They came back down here in November 2013 and put on a show. It was their 50th anniversary. They wanted to have the same experience that their parents and grandparents had had by playing down here inside of fantastic Caverns. There were over 600 chairs set up down here. Not one of them was empty, and the acoustics in this room are absolutely incredible. Now here in this area, I would like to talk to you about something that was mined from caves around Missouri and some of the surrounding states. Because you see, in some caves, there's a nitrate that can be found in the cave soil. That nitrate is called saltpeter. Now, we never had anything mined from our cave, but I'm going to kind of walk you through the process on how they would remove saltpeter from cave soil. They would carry large bucket loads of the soil out there and place it into one of these. This is a leaching vat. Well, saltpeter is water soluble. So they pour buckets of water over the top of all that, and they catch it in a bucket. Well, then they had to figure out how to separate the water and the saltpeter. That's where a nice big cooking pot came in handy, because once all of that water had boiled off, about the only thing that would remain inside of that pot would be the saltpeter crystals. Now, do you know what you get when you take saltpeter and mix it with sulfur and potash? What? Gunpowder. And guys, that's the reason why John Knox didn't tell a soul about this place for over 5 years. The Civil War was going on. He was afraid if anybody found out that he had this down here, he was afraid that they would take it away from him. Now, Native American Indians never knew this cave was here. Took that dog to find that small opening back in 1862. And that's a shame, because we do know that the Osage Indians actually lived just right down below the visitor center down alongside the Little Sauk River. They lived less than a third of a mile from here, never knew this was here. They could have lived in here, excuse me, nice and warm in the wintertime, nice and cool in the summertime. It would have been a good water source. It would have been a good tool source. They just didn't know it was here. Okay, now this next area that we are getting ready to go through is going to be getting quite low, especially on the driver's side. So guys, watch your heads and consider it practice for a little bit later on. Dome-shaped ceiling. Dome-shaped ceilings are very strong, and it's a good thing because we are underneath the parking lot right now. But guys, in all the years I've worked here, I've only seen one thing ever fall inside of this cave, and that's water droplets. But see, that's something people fear when they come into a cave. They think something's going to break off and hit them in the head. They see a lot of it in movies. Now, another thing that people fear about caves are snakes. It's too cold in here. But in the summertime, we will get them outside the exit and the entrance. They'll crawl up there and catch a nice cool breeze coming out. But the main thing that people fear about caves are bats. We do have bats, we just don't have any right now. Because guys, I can tell you one thing, bats are smart. When our cave flooded, they left. Last night was the first time I'd actually saw a bat in over a month. And I haven't been able to find him today. So guys, they'll all start slowly working their way back in. The most common bat that we have down here used to be called an eastern pipistrelle. They now call it a tricolor bat. They get no larger than your thumb, and they weigh less than a nickel. And guys, they're actually really cute. And bats are very good to have around because they can fly out in the late afternoon, early evening, eat up over 75 to 80% of their own body weight daily in insects. And a lot of those bugs that they're going to be eating, mosquitoes. If it's going to eat a mosquito, I'm going to keep it around. Now everyone, as we go past this overhang up here, Once we get past that, if you look up to the right, the ceiling up there is just absolutely beautiful. Now, does everybody remember earlier when we got to see what absolute darkness looked like and it was just pitch black? Well, you do have to admit one thing. Not bad for something found by a little dog. Each one of these two columns right in front of us are over 18 feet tall. And just think, just made from little tiny minerals found in water droplets. It's a whole different world down here, isn't it? Does anybody have any questions? You're going to get dripped on.
4 times.
Guys, we have a drip line over here right outside the exit of the cave. I'm going to try to get us through that as quickly as possible because it is cold going down the back of your neck. But guys, just be glad you weren't here last night because from probably about 2/3 of the way over to the right, all the way over, was just a solid wall of water.